We want to get it over with. At the same time, we want to give tremendous amounts of time. If she shows up, that would be wonderful. If she doesn't show up, that would be unfortunate.
Let's bring in Alice Hennigan, Trump's America columnist with Global Metro Papers, and Kenneth Vecchio, Republican strategist and former judge. And Ken, Monday does seem sort of arbitrary. The Republicans would be smart politically, wouldn't they, to let this go a couple days if that's all that Christine Ford needs?
A couple days, fine. Anything further than that, no way. And yeah, this is unfair. Think about your son, your daughter, when you're thinking about the allegations against Judge Kavanaugh, because this is one person's word versus another's. And there is nothing more unfair for somebody to be charged with a crime or to be put through a media frenzy, have a job taken away from them potentially because of one person's singular word that's uncorroborated. There's no supporting evidence at all. No audio, no visual.
But there is plenty of evidence from Georgetown Prep, from alumni, that Brett Kavanaugh was a drinker. He was a partier. He was the captain of the basketball team. He was on the football team. This sort of fits his MO of going to this kind of party. But LSE denies this ever happened, that he ever went to any of these sort of parties.
David, as you know, the prisons of America are filled with people who are there on the words of other people. That's really the basis of our criminal justice system, is witness testimony and victim testimony. Listen, here's the reality. If we had a proper investigation, we really could find out about this. What I don't understand is why the Republicans are so insistent that this thing not be properly investigated. Keep the FBI away. Don't give anybody any time. Rush it through the Senate. Let's find the facts. We don't know what they are yet, but let's find them. We have the power to do that. This is important stuff.
Absolutely. It is completely incorrect that that is the fundamental basis of our criminal justice system. It is oxymoronic to proof beyond a reasonable doubt where one person's word without any corroborating evidence should ever convict anybody, and anybody should ever lose a job.
But that's a criminal trial. We're talking about whether somebody's entitled to the highest court in the land. But to this point, what's wrong with the FBI doing an investigation? And with the Anita Hill, Clarence Thomas hearings 27 years ago, it only took them 3 days.
Well, first of all, it's not the FBI's jurisdiction to handle a case like this. This would be handled at the state level. Second, an alleged victim who has no corroborating evidence put forward at all, at least that we know of, can't dictate what the FBI does. I don't have a problem with this being fettered out, but I do have problems with that this woman conveniently comes forward 36 years later when this guy is at celebrity status, after the hearings are over, after Dianne Feinstein and others were in receipt of this information.
She did apparently go to the committee much sooner, and it was Feinstein who started this, but in any case.
Here's what we know. I mean, there are some facts here. They're not totally conclusive yet, but the Republicans in the Senate and in the White House are adamantly refusing to give this thing a proper airing. My hope is that when she appears in front of the committee, as it seems most likely that she will at this point, that Americans have a chance to listen to this lady.
But Ellis, who is she to
give her a fair chance? She is a. You don't know that she's telling the truth, and you don't know that she's.
That's exactly right.
So let's give this thing a fair chance with a proper investigation, the way we investigate anything.
At best, it could possibly be a 50-50 shot. That's her best scenario. That's 50-50. If it's 50-50, would you want your son or daughter to lose a job because some person just stepped forward and says, you did something to me 35 years ago, can't name the location, can't even name the exact year when it is?
Once we investigate it, maybe we'll be able to pin some of this stuff down. But I will tell you this. I have a pretty high standard when it comes to who I put on the Supreme Court of the United States. And you know what? If there's a pretty good chance, maybe a 50-50 chance, that this guy is an attempted rapist, maybe we ought to find another justice.
Kirsten Gillibrand has said that if Ford does not get the opportunity to testify, in other words, if the Senate doesn't wait, that somehow she is not having her voice heard. But didn't she get her voice heard with the Washington Post interview that she gave?
Well, that was the first thing. That's what put this thing into the light of day and got us to discuss the thing. Again, these are important, huge matters. We're not putting somebody in prison. We're giving them the most elevated position in our entire justice system. Let's take a little care and let's keep the bar high.
Right,
here.
but one person shouldn't be able to be the decision maker on that, and that is what she's trying to be. That's what the far left Democrats are trying to have occur. They're having her come forward after the hearings were already over as a clear-cut delay tactic, and they're trying to push off until after the midterms. That's the political process that's going on here.
There is a political benefit to delaying, but I got to ask, I mean, isn't the larger prospect in all of this? It's not really so much whether Kavanaugh gets to serve on the Supreme Court, but you mentioned our kids. Wouldn't our kids be better served if we sent a very clear message, fair or not, to Kavanaugh, that if you're 17 years old and you drink and you engage in some sort of behavior with women, there may be consequences that follow you the rest of your life.
If he really did what she said, not only should he not be on the Supreme Court, he shouldn't be a judge at all, and he should be disbarred. However, nobody should have their career run through the mud based on one person's allegation. That gives way too much power to one person.
Well, one person who has had his career go through the mud is the Attorney General, Jeff Sessions. Donald Trump is hammering him again, saying that Sessions might as well not even be there. Is this very smart, Ken, for the president to be dumping as Attorney General like this?
The president, at his prerogative, can fire and hire anybody who he wants as department heads. In my estimation, Jeff Sessions has quietly done a good job in a lot of different areas. But if the president of the United States doesn't feel that he's meeting his agenda, he has the right to fire him.
Well, there's only one person to blame either way. It's the man who promised us he would give us only the best people in these positions. We know now the ones that aren't yet convicted of crimes or accused of wrongdoing, and half the others the president has turned on him and decided that the people that he loved aren't worthy of any love at all.
And speaking of those people that he loved, there are reports tonight that Michael Cohen has been meeting repeatedly with Special Counsel Mueller to talk about what he knows. It feels like all the people around Donald Trump are singing.
Yeah, but Michael Cohen, you have a incredible actor pleading guilty to something that's not a crime. He pled guilty because his hand was forced to. It happens all the time, and there's no legal rationale how Donald Trump can be convicted of any offense of anything that we know of based on Michael Cohen.
But that's the key, what we know of. And there's a lot that we don't know about special counsel investigations. Usually it's like 70% that we don't know, at least
that is right, David, and those are the only people who were put in that place by one person, Donald Trump.
Alice Hennigan and Kenneth Del Vecchio, great debate and discussion as always. Thank you both. We appreciate it. Still to come. Australia is working through a bizarre crisis. People are finding